Craig Albernaz, the new Oriole skipper who was introduced on Monday in Baltimore. Craig, I talked it up in the break, but I think your accent might be vying for like best in baseball. I did grow up I'm from New England. I grew up a diehard Boston Bruins fan. So whenever you talk, I'm like, oh, it's like the nostalgia of the old bees, you know? So that's how I feel. So if you could tell everyone on the show to maybe park their car, I think we could maybe decide if it's good or not.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying it's the best accent. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I think everyone else has an accent. I talk normal. I talk the way it should be done. I'm kidding, but yeah, it hasn't left me since I was 17. So
Yeah, but the baseball will take your accent away. I mean, some people from Alabama, they come in the season and they talk like this. By the end of the season, the only thing you hear is y'all. So your accent must have been super thick.
it had to be. I tell everyone when you're first, second grade, third grade teachers, you learn English and stuff, and they talk like you. It just gets embedded and ingrained. So here I am, still talking the same.
Are you going to talk that way to your team? Like, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? Being who you are when you've now become, I mean, reached the apex of being a coach. You've been a coach since we got done
Hmm.
playing against each other in AAA. Now
Yep.
you've reached that head coach status. You're now a manager in the big leagues. What does it mean to you to be who you are and not who baseball needs you to be?
Yeah, I mean, I got to this position being who I am, so I'm just gonna keep on doing the same thing. Like that's what I see is what players want, right? And that's what players want to feel and want to be a part of is someone that's authentic, someone that has their back every step of the way, and is going to tell them the truth. And that's who I am. I'm a truth teller. I let you know where I see it, right or wrong or indifferent, and that's when the great conversations happen. And like I said, I'm not going to change. I am who I am, and I joke around with Mike Elias, like, I'm hoping what you're getting yourself into. So, we joke around about it, but yeah, that's the only thing I know. You can't be fake in this game.
First off, congratulations. Secondly,
Thanks, KP.
just talking to a lot of players in Cleveland, they always said Jose Ramirez is the guy that really sets the culture there. Whatever Jose does, we do. Have you been able to kind of identify with your new team who you believe is going to kind of be that culture setter? And if you have someone, have you been able to get on the phone and talk to them?
Yeah, I've talked to a handful of players now. I'm trying to get to everyone. It's tough, man. With everything going on. But the cool part about it is that this group has come up together through the minor leagues. They kind of all broke in around the same time, and they're a very close-knit group. So for me, there is multiple people that can fill that role. And for me, leadership looks different for everyone. You get the vocal guys, you get the guys that lead by example, you get the guys that behind the scenes will call you out, will talk to you. There's a variety of different ways to do it. And for me, it's just allowing the players to be themselves and figure out how they want to lead. And then once I identify that, then you can kind of use that through your conversations, through looping them in to certain, areas of the game that you want to improve. But then there's also like the veteran guy. It's crazy to think about like Tyler O'Neill. He's only 30 years old, but he's the most veteran guy on the team, and he's the one that reached out to me. I didn't reach out to him, so that right there just shows that he's eager to step into that quote unquote veteran leadership role. So that's going to be a great asset for us, and then hopefully our coaching staff can come in and cultivate the same environment that I want to as well, and that's what we're trying to identify right now.
Hey, since you mentioned his name, are you going to try to do curls with him?
That guy's a unit, dude. He is a unit. I'm gonna try to do some curls with him because I just want to see what he can curl, what can
I
he
know.
put up, man.
First day in spring training, be like, hey, let's bond. Let me work out with you.
Yeah, like you squatting today, you deadlifting, I got you. You don't have to unrack the plates. And as
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
throw my
got you.
back out, yeah, yeah, no kidding. That dude just he's a specimen though.
The early injury report on Craig Albernaz. I'll write that now. Headed to the IL, sprained hamstring.
No
Uh,
doubt, no doubt.
Craig, as I'm sure you're aware, the Orioles have not won a playoff game in a decade. There's been a lot of fan unrest because they went through the rebuild, they won the American League East, and then they really had nothing to show for it in terms of October wins, and kind of making the fans feel like sitting through all of that was worth it. Often the manager job inherits like a rebuild, but you are inheriting a team that really is set up to win now. How does that change the job and how you go about learning on the job? Because there's not a whole lot of easing in like there would be if you say we're taking over the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, I mean, to me, every team, every player, when they show up to spring training, the goal should be to win the World Series. Like if you're in that locker room and you don't feel that way, you shouldn't be in there. It doesn't matter what team you're on. Like the ultimate goal for every player to start the season is to win the World Series. So for us, that doesn't change, and for me, it doesn't change. And for me, the only way for our guys to do that is for them to be themselves, use their strengths, and then play together as a unit. It's such a grind of a season. This game is so hard. As KP and Kratz, like 162 games is the hardest thing to do in sports to navigate that season. And then when you punch your ticket to your playoffs, that's the fun part. But you have to get there first. And to get there, you have to play baseball. You have to do the little things right. You have to grind out at bats. You have to, get bunts down, because ideally, nine guys in the lineup, you want them to all feel great. But we all know that's not going to happen. And also, if we go out and hit 12 home runs a game, sign me up. But that's not the world we live in. So we have to do the little things to compete and win every day. And that's going to be the mindset is like, what can we do today to win tonight's game?
Yeah, we all know, everyone in baseball knows Stephen Vogt's a special person. Look no further than what he did for you yesterday. Obviously, a good friend of mine, was one of my most favorite teammates. Never got a chance to play for him. What was kind of, what'd you learn from him? What was kind of his secret sauce as a manager to be able to kind of be maybe a 1 or 2 years removed from playing and taking his team to the playoff, winning a manager of the year?
Yeah, I mean, when Kratzy asked me the question about changing and like being yourself, like KP, like that's what Bodie he is. Like he's himself, and he's an elite person, elite communicator. That's why I'm throwing seeds on him right here. But he's he has a way about him where he can make everyone in that clubhouse feel like they're Jose Ramirez. And that's a special sauce with him. Like he genuinely cares and loves every person that's in that locker room, every person that's in the organization. And he's really great at the X's and O's too. He doesn't get enough credit for that, but he's really good with the in-game decisions. And then also communicating those decisions and why we did something or why we didn't do something. He's open and honest at every step, every turn, and that's something I'm going to bring as well. And that's something I learned from him is just that over communication piece and making everyone feel valued because they do have
Hey,
value no matter what role you're in.
was that moment tense right there when you were throwing seeds at him? And what did he say to you?
No, I always throw seeds at them. So our normal cadence would be, during the game, we always eat, chew seeds at some point in the game, and we always have dugout banter. We're talking about a variety of different situations, and we both throw dumb ideas out there, and just so happened that he threw a dumb idea out there. That's why I kind of gave like the quick glance at him. Then I threw seeds on him, and then he's kind of like shaking his head, like, "Yeah, Albie, I know." But then he kept on talking. So that's just a usual cadence between us two. We try to keep it light, but also check each other.
Craig, the other part was his jersey didn't fit as nice as your jersey. Like he was filling out his jersey a little bit. Are you prepared for the stresses that come with being a manager? Obviously, you can't get gray hair because you ain't got none.
Exactly.
But I
Exactly.
mean, you're going to start filling the jersey out like Voter did, and it's not. I mean, those buttons they're hanging on for dear life. So, are you prepared for that? And do you have people around you to be able to handle that?
Yeah, my wife will keep me in check, dialed. Yeah, I mean, she did. She trained MMA and stuff, so she fought for a little bit. So she'll definitely, if she needs to, get a little physical, in a good way, not in a bad
Uh-huh.
way.
Uh-huh.
So there's that. But also that's why they make the pullovers. That's why they make the other articles of clothing to wear. So those days where you binge eating for 2 weeks, you feel a little flabby, you can just throw on the pullover and try to hide it a little bit.
And keep it baggy. I appreciate that. All right, now the
But then
tough
but
question.
also
Go ahead.
we got Tyler O'Neill too. Tyler O'Neill, he'll looking at him every day. I'm like, shit, I got to stay clean.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So you keep it healthy by looking at your players. I got a question for you though, and this is a tough one. All right, this is your first tough question as a manager. You came in and you brought in Dustin Lind as your new hitting coach. The hitting coach that was there is going to get a lot of flack for what happened with the organization. Hey, you know what? This offense didn't do what they needed to do, all that stuff. How hard of a decision is that when you get rid of a guy who was there and worked with some of these guys coming up through the minor leagues, some continuity? And really, the Orioles didn't win because their pitching was trash, but you bring in a hitting coach. How hard is that first decision, bringing in somebody that you know and are comfortable with? I assume you guys were together in San Francisco, if I'm not correct.
Yeah.
How hard is
Yeah,
that?
we were.
How hard is that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Kratz, it wasn't that hard because that move, a lot of coaching moves were made before I got the job. And
Okay.
so I came in with I had a we had to bring in a new hitting group. And Dustin Lind was the first name on my list. I was around him in San Francisco. He has a very diverse background. I mean, he's formerly a physical therapist. He's a doctor, so he knows everything to know about the body, and he's also knows the swing, knows the hit, has teaches a variety of different approaches. Like he's a really a unicorn hitting coach. But then also he got to be in Philadelphia and get to work under Kevin Long. We all know Kevin Long. The dude's one of the best hitting coaches ever. I mean, just look at his track record. The dude's a elite leader and a communicator and can teach hitting. And being in Philadelphia with that group of players and learning on the K Long, like it to me was a no brainer to bring him in. Like he's ready for this opportunity. And our players are going to be communicated with every step of direction, and he's going to cater to them. Like there's not going to be a one size fits all approach. And that's something that really excites me about bringing Dustin Lin in, and the players' feedback so far is that they're fired up about it.
Craig, I gotta say I'm a little disappointed because you signed on and your 2-year-old daughter Gigi, who I was at the press conference Monday, she was the highlight, was there, and she's not here. So I want to know, is she taking a nap?
Napping.
Much
She
deserved
is
rest right
napping.
now. It's that afternoon nap time for Gigi. It was such a cute moment. I think we have a little video to show of her, but the whole family, I'm sure this was your wife wearing the matching shoes, the little Orioles
Yeah.
outfits. For those who are not there, Orioles owner David Rubenstein picked up Gigi, the youngest of three, to put her on Craig's lap during this press conference. It was a really sweet moment. Is she excited to go to Baltimore? She probably doesn't really know what's going on, but it seems like your two older sons are very into baseball and what you do. How ready is the family to be in Baltimore long term and to switch all their stuff to orange and black?
they, they are excited. Both of my boys initially were not. They were upset that we were leaving Cleveland. Like, what do you mean? Like, we're not going to see. Like, obviously, Bodie has kids, and not going to see his kids, and also the players. Like, what do you mean we're not going to see Hosey and David Fry and Hedgie? But then they start to realize, like, oh, this is a good thing. So they're fired up, and little Gigi, I mean, she's the best. She can have whatever she wants. And then when David picked her up, I was like in my head, I was like, David, do you know what you're doing? Like this is going to be this could go a variety of different directions. So they're fired up. It's great. It was such a great day. I mean, for me, honestly, that's something that I wasn't looking forward to just because it was like a whole day about me. And that's something that is not in my personality. So, but the way they incorporated the family and made my family feel welcome and all the little stuff behind the scenes. It was such a great day, and I'm glad that the world got to see Gigi and how great of a kid she is and how lucky I am.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
speaking of,
I have
sorry.
two little boys, Craig. No, you're fine. I was worried for you when she went up there because I was like, "Oh, this could go really well or she could have a total meltdown here on the podium." So as a toddler
Well,
parent, I was sweating it out for you, but she was excellent. It was excellent.
yeah, yeah. My two boys are sitting in the front and they're looking at me. They're like, "Can I come up?" can I come up? And I'm mouthing to him like, no, you can't come up yet. No. And I'm like, as like David's talking and Mike's talking, I'm like, oh no, this is got to get chaos real quick.
Well, speaking of change, and I guess now chaos can use the word for someone who spent parts of 7 season in the AL East. Are you prepared for this change? And seeing the Blue Jays, win the division, obviously get to the World Series, has to, serve as some sort of motivation, knowing that if you're able to get out of the AL Beast, which we like to call
AL
it,
Beast. Hmm.
you got a good chance of running the table.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's a gauntlet of a division. But it's also so much fun. I think as a competitor, as a baseball fan, like that's something where you want to be. Like you want to go up against the best every night, which is what this league is. And everyone in this division is ready to win every year. And that's the best part about this place. And that's the challenge of it and the beauty of it. And even coming up as a minor leaguer in the Rays organization, that's something our old farm director used to preach to us all the time was every time we're competing against someone in our division, whether it's ping pong, shuffleboard, pickup basketball, whatever it is, like we're trying to beat them. And that's something that I've had my upbringing growing up as a player in the minor leagues and also as a staff member. So the opportunity to jump in here and jump in the AL Beast, which is real, it's awesome. And what the Blue Jays did, they were in last place last year and in the division. Now, go to the World Series and take it to 7 games. What a great series it was to watch. It was just it's great for baseball and being able to jump right into that. I mean, it's exciting.